Hi, everyone. My name is Amelia Bachlida, and I am the Director of Outreach and Education at the Institute for Learning and Brain Sciences at the University of Washington in Seattle. And today I'm going to talk to you about applied science communication and this poster that I developed with my colleague, Dr. Marley Jarvis. At iLabs, we are a basic research institute dedicated to understanding brain development and human learning. There's about 80 of us, and part of the work that we do is our outreach team. 5 of us are dedicated full-time to thinking about science communication and to putting that research into the hands of people that can use it to improve the lives of children and families. So parents, educators, policymakers. And as an outreach team, we think of ourselves as existing in this ecosystem. We're working with the researchers. Many of us are scientists ourselves, but we're thinking also very much about the lives and the lived experiences of the people that we're working with. And it's in this back and forth that we do our work. And we call this applied science communication, which is putting science into the hands of people who can use it in their daily lives and professional work. At its core, it is practical and relevant to the end user. We've developed a framework for applied science communication that I want to share with you, and you can look at in more depth in the poster. We call this the 7 Ps. And at the center is perspective. We're always thinking about what is the cultural frame that we bring to the work that we do and to the rooms that we enter. That's the core question that we ask. And then we think about our purpose. What is our main message? And then what possible impacts might we have from sharing it? What, if any, community needs are we responding to, and how is this beneficial? I think that that's really crucial for thinking about applied science communication. How is it beneficial? What needs are we responding to? We also think a lot about the prior knowledge of the groups that we're working with. Oftentimes we're working with educators who have vast experiences with practical application. And so we think about how we can incorporate their knowledge into the work that we do. We think about practices. This is basically what are people doing? How can we create messages and products that are really tailored to exactly what people are doing? We work so often in partnership, and that's where we do our best work. A lot of our work is collaborating with community-based organizations who are really embedded in communities, working with families, working with educators. And we want to make sure that our partnerships are reciprocal. We're looking at what are the needs of our partners, how can we create products and messages that are useful for them, and how can they help us think more deeply about engaging with the community. Policy is something that we think a lot about too, not only the federal and local policies that are applicable, but pertinent community norms. What are people doing? This guides people's decision making, and it affects how we're going to shape our messaging. And then, of course, we think about practicality. What's practical? What's useful? Folks don't have a lot of time. They're busy. What are resources and messages that they need in their everyday lives? And so in thinking about this framework, we apply it to a variety of different work that we do. And I wanted to share a quick snapshot of some of the work that we do. And you can take a closer look at these examples in the poster. We think a lot about making science part of the everyday. We have an Instagram account called Finding Math. We encourage you to check that out. That's one of the ways that we try and work with children and families to help empower them to find math in their everyday environments and interactions. We think a lot about tailoring resources, right? We've created policy briefs, we've created parent handouts. If we're thinking about brain development, for example, how that information looks is going to look very different for those 2 different audiences. And we think a lot about visual design. We create infographics and animated video shorts to communicate the latest science in ways that are fun and relevant and actionable. We also have a quick start framework that we developed in collaboration with the Center for Advancing Research in Society, all about creating a public engagement plan. And we encourage you to check that out. You can think about what your message is, how to collaborate and work in community, even develop a logic model. Thank you so much for dropping by. I really hope to meet many of you. We are very open to questions that you may have. We would love to connect. So thank you to you. And I also want to shout out our entire outreach team, and particularly Marley Jarvis, who worked on developing this poster with me.